What's going on, guys? I am the Wrestling King coming at you with the 2015 Pay-Per-View DVD Collection video. So, yeah, we're continuing on with Pay-Per-View collections as far back as I can go, or as many years as I have. So, yeah, let's get right into 2015 with the Royal Rumble. Now, this is definitely a infamous Royal Rumble where, well, you have one of the best matches, I think, of the year. And then you have one of the moments that is remembered for the wrong reasons. So, on the cover you got many of your Rumble participants, and then you have your fantastic WWE title match up here. And then also on the spine you got Cena, Lesnar, and Rollins. And there's your back. So yeah, Lesnar, Rollins, and Cena put on a fantastic triple threat for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Amazing match. But then you also had the Royal Rumble where Roman Reigns won and got booed out of the building in Philly. Not even The Rock coming in could save him from being booed, and this kind of started the full Roman Reigns babyface, I don't know, just booing run, if you want to call it that, just where he was really hated because he was being pushed down our throats as the guy. Because Daniel Bryan was eliminated way too early in the match, so he didn't even have a shot to win, and then everyone knew Roman was winning. It's a very memorable moment, but like I said, not for the right reason. A pretty cool Rumble discard. I actually like that a lot. Kind of a red fading into black artwork, and we get a Sting trading card, so that's very cool as well. So yeah, very good match up here, but the Rumble is not the greatest. Not the best decision by WWE. Now we move on to Fastlane, the first ever Fastlane event. So they would throw out Elimination Chamber until later in the year. And yeah, so we'd get Fastlane before WrestleMania. You got Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan there with a kind of a sun shining behind them. Also on the spine, there you go. And then looking at the back, you have Sting right there. So yeah, and we do get a match listing here. But one part that's not on it is Sting and Triple H's confrontation, kind of setting up their WrestleMania match even farther. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Honestly, this isn't too bad of a pay-per-view. You had a 6-man tag to open the show: Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback versus Seth Rollins, Kane, and The Big Show. Usos versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd for the WWE tag titles. U.S. title match: Rusev and John Cena before their Mania match. And then Divas title match, Nikki Bella and Paige. Your Intercontinental title match, Bad News Barrett and Dean Ambrose. And you also had the segment of Bray Wyatt calling out The Undertaker, which was very cool. He came out in the coffin. Everyone thought it was Taker, but it was Bray Wyatt, so that was pretty cool. And then your main event, the winner faces Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the WWE title, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, in a pretty solid main event. Those two always have good matches, so not a surprise there. You got a John Cena card, and then your very bright Fastlane discard. So there you go. So like I said, not a terrible show. I mean, it's not the best, but it's definitely not like a terrible pay-per-view for the first Fastlane. And there they go. Next up, we have one of my favorite and a very good WrestleMania 31. So very nice cover here. You got a red background. Very cool logo with kind of a play button there. I believe this was in California. I might be wrong. But I believe that's where this Mania took place. Very cool cover. You just have your lineup of superstars and kind of a text swoosh over, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You go from Lesnar down to Taker. So, like I said, very, very cool artwork. I mean, it's simple, but I think it works. And then I will open this up. So, looking on the spine, you got Lesnar and Reigns, which is your main event. And, yeah, spoiler, Rollins wins the title. Very amazing ending to WrestleMania. I love going back and watching that moment. So, you also had Ronda Rousey and The Rock here with their segment with Triple H and Stephanie, but I'll run down the card on the inside. So, yeah, and this is still when we were getting the Hall of Fame with WrestleManias. And Digipacks even. So very cool artwork here. You got Triple H with the Terminator outfit there. and then Rollins holding up the title with the fireworks going off. So you get a Hulk Hogan trading card and this little advertisement, I suppose. And there you go, you have Sting diving off onto DX, so that's very cool. I really enjoy that match. That might be one of my favorite matches from this pay-per-view is Sting and Triple H. Yeah, so very cool artwork here. In the back, you got Orton and Rollins, Lesnar and Reigns. And then, a very good main event from Lesnar and Reigns, I will admit. That was probably their best match other than SummerSlam 2022, I think. I really loved that match, but I think just out of a regular match those two had, this was probably the best one. First one and the best. So yeah, let's run down this match card. So you have the America the Beautiful, obviously, Kickoff Mania. Then your Intercontinental title ladder match won by Daniel Bryan. Very fun match, Kickoff Mania. I wish they'd do more of those ladder matches to Kickoff Mania. You had Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, the infamous curb stomp into RKO spot. That's all I remember from that match, to be honest. Sting and Triple H, like I said, favorite match, I think. I think Sting should have gone over, but it is what it is. They were setting up for Rock and Triple H at Mania 32, even though it never happened. You had the NWO and DX facing off, and that was cool. Then you have your musical performance there, Skylar Grey and Kid Ink, AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bella Twins, the Hall of Fame class, U.S. title match, Rusev and John Cena, the Rock and Ronda Rousey interrupt the Authority, so yeah, there you go, you have the Ronda Rousey and Rock segment, Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, and then the WWE World Heavyweight title match, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and very good match. Even before the Rollins cash-in, they were having a pretty good match. And then Rollins comes in, cashes in, and makes that very memorable moment. And like I said, this is a very good Mania, top to bottom. Not a bad match. I can't really say any match is bad. I mean, AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bella Twins, I might not go back and watch. Or Rusev and Cena might not be the first one I go back and watch. But definitely not bad matches. For your kickoff show, you also had a Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Tag Titles, Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, New Day, Usos, Los Matadores, and your Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then your Hall of Fame class, Rikishi, Larry Zbyszko, Alundra Blaze, Connor the Crusher Mahalik, the Bushwhackers, Tatsumi Fujinami, Macho Man Randy Savage, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Kevin Nash. And then you have your special features, Seth Rollins is the future, and Cena prepares for Rusev. So yeah, probably my second favorite Mania. I think first still goes to Mania 30, but this has to be my second favorite Mania I've ever watched live. So, very good show. Next up, we have Extreme Rules 2015. Kind of a guilty pleasure show for me. I don't think it's the best pay-per-view, but it's not a bad pay-per-view to come off of WrestleMania. You have nice artwork. I love this artwork, actually. You have the Extreme Rules dividing up the cover. You got Orton and Rollins up here with the steel cage in the back. Big Show and Reigns. Cena and Rusev. And there's your spine. Rollins and Orton again. And then Big Show and Reigns. So, yeah, very cool. There's your screenshots, and we do get another match listing. So 2015, we kind of got some scattered match listings, which I appreciate. We had Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper in a Chicago street fight, a Kiss Me Arse match, Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus, W Tag title match, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus the New Day, Russian chain match for the U.S. title, Cena and Rusev, Nikki Bella and Naomi for the Divas title, Roman Reigns and the Big Show, last man standing. Not a bad match, actually. And then a steel cage match for the WWE World Heavyweight title, and the RKO's banned, and Kane is the gatekeeper. So there you go. Rollins and Orton. So like I said, it's not the greatest show, but I enjoy it, and I like that they have a wide variety of stipulations, because it is Extreme Rules, so you should have quite a few different match types, I think. So yeah, like I said, maybe not the best show, but I enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts on the show down in the comments below. Next up, we have Payback 2015 with your Fatal 4-Way displayed here. I like how the gold kind of creeps into the WWE title right there, so that's very cool. It's kind of weird, though. You have a gold or yellow Payback logo here, but then the rest is red, so it's kind of odd. It doesn't really fit, but I don't mind it. I do enjoy the cover, though. I like how you have your main event displayed heavily on this DVD. So yeah, you had your Fatal 4-Way main event for the WWE title. Ambrose, Rollins, Reigns, and Orton. And then you had Ryback and Bray Wyatt, kind of a random match. You had a rematch, Sheamus and Ziggler again. And then I believe an I Quit match for the US title, Cena and Rusev again. So, I don't think they had bad matches, Cena and Rusev. Honestly, they were pretty decent matches. Pretty plain Payback disc art, but it is what it is. So, not the most memorable show for 2015 in Payback. Then we move on to Elimination Chamber 2015. And this was not released in the US, as you can see. This was a Fremantle release. But I did get my hands on it from Amazon UK back in 2015. So you got Rollins and Ambrose up top. I actually like the cover. It's pretty decent. And you have your Chamber down here. I believe the other man in the match was Mark Henry. So yeah, you got Ryback on the spine. Everyone's favorite, Ryback. You had a very good match between John Cena and Kevin Owens, where Kevin Owens would get a big win over John Cena here. Not for the US title, but Kevin Owens was actually still in NXT at the time, as you can see, the champion. You had Neville and Bo Dallas in kind of a random match, I thought. And then your Intercontinental Championship Chamber, Daniel Bryan obviously had to vacate it due to injury. So you had Sheamus, Ryback, Mark Henry, R-Truth, Wade Barrett, and Dolph Ziggler. And Ryback would win the match to become the new Intercontinental Champion. And your main event was Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, which Dean Ambrose sort of won, but he didn't officially, but he kind of just took the title and ran. So I remember that from the show. And yeah, so it's kind of a random show. They just threw Elimination Chamber in the middle of the year, which I like it before Mania, personally. But, it is what it is. So, not the greatest show, I don't think. It's not too memorable. It's just here. But next up, we do have a pretty decent show, I think. Money in the Bank 2015. Not the best cover for Money in the Bank, but I do like this poster art of Dean Ambrose with just some rubble behind him. I think that's pretty cool. Then you have your spine there, your main event, and I don't know if it was co-main event, but your other really good match. And Sheamus won, in case you didn't know. So yeah, you got Owens and Cena again down there. Rollins and Ambrose with the title falling off the ladder. And you get another match listing, so here we go. Your Money in the Bank ladder match, you had Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus, Kane, Neville, and Kofi Kingston. I always thought that was kind of a fun ladder match. Sheamus won, which was okay. It didn't really go anywhere, but whatever. You had your Divas title match, Nikki Bella and Paige. Intercontinental title match, Ryback and The Big Show. You had John Cena and Kevin Owens again. Those two never put on a bad match. The New Day versus Primetime Players, where I think the Primetime Players would win the tag titles for a month or two here, or they would hold them for a month or two, so kind of cool. Give them the titles for a bit. And your very good main event, ladder match for the World Heavyweight title, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and Rollins would beat Ambrose again, but as you can see, they were both falling down with the title, so very cool artwork, and I actually think this is a decent show. It's nothing crazy, but Cena and Owens, your Money in the Bank ladder match wasn't bad, and your main event was pretty good. I really enjoy that match. But Rollins and Ambrose have a lot of chemistry, so their matches were always pretty good, for the most part at least. Next up, kind of a random show, Beast in the East. This wasn't really, I don't think it was really a pay-per-view, but I do throw it in with the pay-per-view collection because they released it. So as you can see, this is all about Brock Lesnar on the cover here, and this was not released in the US either. So I only got this like a year or two ago, just to kind of complete the 2015 collection. I believe we had Chris Jericho and Neville, and honestly, I have not seen the show. I gotta be honest. You had Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, or Demon Finn Balor, for the NXT title. And John Cena and Dolph Ziggler versus King Barrett. And then your main event, Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar. Before Kofi got squashed in 2019 by Brock Lesnar, he had a match where he got squashed by Lesnar in 2015. So, yeah, cool stuff. Like I said, I can't really talk too much about this show because I've never watched it. But, yeah, here you go. Beast in the East. There you go. Probably the most in-depth review I'll give you of Beast in the East. Unless you guys want to see a Beast in the East DVD review, but let me know. Next up, we have Battleground. Lesnar versus Rollins. I really like this cover. This is a big fight feel. And you do have the Undertaker's logo in the middle, which they could have done without it, I think. But I still like this cover. Yeah, I think Rollins and Lesnar were having a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. I like their SummerSlam 2019 match better, but it was an alright main event. And then you had the Dead Man returning to face Lesnar leading into SummerSlam. And, yeah, kind of restart their rivalry that after Lesnar beat Taker at Mania 30, ending his streak. So, yeah. And you had Kevin Owens and Cena again for the U.S. title this time, I believe. You had Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt, and I believe Luke Harper would make his return and reunite with Bray Wyatt at this show. And then you had the whole women's revolution coming into play here. So you had the Team PCB, Team Bad, and Team Bella in full effect here. So there you go. You got Brock Lesnar trading card looking fierce. There you go. There you go. Lesnar and Rollins once again on the disc. So, yeah, I like this show. It's pretty decent for 2015. And, yeah, pretty solid main event. And I did like the return of Taker, actually. So, not a problem. I think pretty good show. Next up, we have SummerSlam 2015. We actually got a 2-disc set for this SummerSlam. I think this was the first year they made SummerSlam a 4-hour show instead of 3 hours, so they made this one a little longer, and hence the second disc. So you got Lesnar and Taker up here, and I think this was in the Barclays Center where they would stay for a few years. And then you have Rollins down there with both the WWE title and the US title. So yeah, some pretty good matches on this show. I don't remember every one, but I will read off some here. Your Divas 3-team elimination match, PCB, Team Bella, and Team Bad. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Neville and Stephen Amell versus Stardust and King Barrett. You also had the New Day winning the tag titles back from the Primetime Players. I think it was a Fatal 4-Way tag. I just know the New Day would hold these titles to become the longest reigning champs after this. You also had Cena and Rollins in a very good match for both the WWE title and US title winner take all. It was interrupted by Jon Stewart, and that's how Rollins won, but very good match up until that point, so no complaints for me. I love that match. But Cena and Rollins, Cena was on the run of his life in 2015. I think 2015, 2016 Cena was a really good run. And that was his last full-time run, too. And then your main event wasn't too bad. Lesnar and Taker. I think it ended kind of odd where Taker tapped out, but the ref didn't see it, so he pinned Lesnar, and yeah, whatever. They had a rematch at Hell in a Cell anyway. So, pretty decent SummerSlam. I don't think it's not one of my favorites, but I do like Cena and Rollins, and Taker and Lesnar is always fun to watch. So, yeah, not bad matches on that show. Next up, we have Night of Champions 2015. I really like this show, and I really like this cover. This is probably one of my favorite covers they've ever done, actually, because you have Sting on the left, Cena on the right, and Rollins dead in the middle, pulling double duty. Wedding day Rollins with the white pants here, pulling double duty, defending the WWE title against Sting, and I think it was a good match, even though Sting, this kind of ended his in-ring career up until 2021, where even he doesn't do a lot of matches in AEW, which rightfully so. He's 60. But either way, very good main event, even though Sting, it was kind of scary when he got hurt. And another barn burner between Cena and Rollins right before that match for the U.S. title. Cena would win it back. And then you had Kevin Owens winning the Intercontinental title from Ryback here. And I believe Charlotte would win the Divas title from Nikki Bella at this show. So, like I said, pretty good matches on this show. And I remember the show very fondly. And probably one of my favorites of 2015. But it's kind of hard to compete with Mania 31. But, like I said, not a bad show at all. Next up, we have Hell in a Cell 2015. You know, a so-so show. I think the main event was really good. And then you had some other matches that were alright in between. So you got Taker and Lesnar here with the cell in the background. Pretty cool cover. It's basic, but I like it. There you go, on the spine once again. And so, yeah, your main event, Lesnar and Taker. And Taker was having quite a few matches in 2015 on pay-per-view. This was his last big run of matches. But, yeah, so he'd have this match. I think Lesnar would go over, and then Taker would be carried out by the Wyatts, setting up for a SummerSlam match with them. I'll get into that later. You also had Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt inside Hell in a Cell. And then Cena versus the returning Alberto Del Rio for the U.S. title. And Cena would drop the belt to Del Rio at this show. And then you had Kane versus Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight title. And this was Rollins' last title defense on pay-per-view before he would have to get knee surgery after tearing his ACL. So, yeah, sadly, Rollins' reign would come to an end shortly after the show. But, you know, I think Rollins was having a really good run during this time. I enjoyed his whole authority's hand-picked champion shtick. I enjoyed it. Here you go. You have Survivor Series, 25th anniversary of The Undertaker. So, this cover looks amazing. You have Taker with the fog below him and the purple tint. I really like that. Or the blue-purple tint, whatever. But this was not a very good show. It's kind of sad. It was not the greatest. It was ending the tournament to determine the new WWE World Champion. But, yeah, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose in the finals. Reigns would go over, and then Sheamus would cash in and only hold the title for about 2 months, maybe? A month or 2 months. And then you had the Brothers of Destruction versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. And Paige versus Charlotte Flair, it looks like. So, yeah, not a very good event. It was just boring, kind of. The matches were not very exciting, and yeah, I don't even remember the 5-on-5 matches, which that's like one of the biggest points of Survivor Series, which I wish I did, but I don't remember any of the 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches, so that's a shame. But yeah, so probably one of the worst Survivor Series. I don't know. It's up there for being the worst. And the last pay-per-view of the year, TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, 2015. You got Roman Reigns with just a sea of ladders behind him. Wow, oh my God. And then Sheamus with the League of Nations holding him up. So, yeah, there you go. You got Sheamus and Reigns on the spine. Sheamus with his good old mohawk. Who doesn't miss the mohawk? You had a really good opener for the WWE Tag Titles. I think it was a triple threat. Yeah, New Day versus Usos versus the Lucha Dragons, Kalisto and Sin Cara. And, yeah, really good match for those titles. And then your main event was Sheamus and Roman Reigns for the WWE World title in a pretty decent TLC match. I think they did what they could, but it just wasn't the most exciting rivalry between Sheamus and Reigns. You had Charlotte and Paige once again for the Divas title. And then you had the Wyatt family versus Team Extreme, Tommy Dreamer, the Dudley Boys, and Rhino. So that was definitely cool to see all of them. I think it was an elimination match, tables. But so that was cool to see. I think it was different. And then you had Dean Ambrose winning the Intercontinental title from Kevin Owens at this show. So there you go. Not a terrible event. It's just, I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan of Sheamus and Reigns' rivalry. It was pretty short, but it just wasn't exciting. So not the best main event, but I do think the undercard, like before the main event, it was actually a pretty good show. And yeah, it's average. It's an average pay-per-view. So that's going to do it for the 2015 Pay-Per-View DVD Collection. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.